Welcome back to Bottled Water, everybody. Little bit of a late start today. The internet was acting up. It decided it wanted to do what it wanted to do, and that was not work. But you are all here today because I have Steph back for part 2 of our interview that we had 2 weeks ago. So without further ado.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me back, Tony. Yeah. I'm so glad we decided to do this so quickly too, because there's so much to discuss.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
we can go down a rabbit hole, or we could try and stay in one lane. We'll see where we go today.
I'm not very good at staying in one lane.
I'm not either. I try to make things make sense for people because, this is new to some people. But, you start to go, squirrel, what? Oh, SUP. Yeah. Oh, wait, paranormal. Yeah. So it's really easy to do. But I really do try to do my best to try and make things make sense for people that are new to the subject. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of hard too. Like when you think about it, the subject is so all over the place that it's like, I mean, we have 70 years of disinformation and gaslighting by the government, and now it's all starting to come out. Right. And the more it does, the more people kind of that fringe element kind of starts to come back out, and people are like, well, it's the tall blonde Pallades. And
yeah. I mean, and gaslighting is the perfect term to use for the people who have seen paranormal or UAP, where, you're made to feel a certain way where, oh no, there's no way. No, yeah, you're not, there's something not right with this person. And, and now when we hold 1,500 pages are out from the Pentagon and videos are exposed from the military. And I mean, are we not to trust what they're recording on their cameras and the flare footage that's been multi-vetted by, various people? So, I mean, that is over with. That is done. We are in a new, block, if you will, of this whole entire subject. And a lot of people are newbies. They're coming on going, wait, this is real? It's real. It's cool to be a part of it right now.
It is. It's so cool to see like how everything kind of goes down. And although there are some lulls in information coming out, and if you're new to UFO Twitter, you like in the last 2 months, you've seen that when no information comes out, people just start bickering with each other.
Yeah. Not a good look. No, not a good look, guys. It's okay. Just calm down.
Yeah, and just remember that that's all of Twitter. All of Twitter is like that.
Yeah. Right. That platform. Yeah, where people like to say, 2 sentences and just get it all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I understand, where people are coming from, they're projecting and they're upset. We've been lied to.
This would be the first of the internet's just hating on us today, guys. Steph froze. She looks like she's mid-song. Just like got her arms out. So I'm sure everybody is well aware. Oh, I do have to put out.
I have my iPad on and I just heard I am mid-song. I'm like, hey, everybody.
Like, hey.
Let me turn that on. We are here to tell the truth.
Yes, we are.
All right, let me turn that one down. So, yeah.
It's a lot going on, and I do want to point out before I forget, because I will, it's probably going to be the first or second weekend of next month. I won't be doing a show. I don't know which one yet, but it's going to be one of those weekends. And in the future, I'll tell everybody why. Like I'll do a post on Twitter or something, or drop a small video.
You will not be?
I will not be. No.
Okay. So,
It's what I told you about yesterday or the day before.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Understood. People will understand.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's going to happen. I just don't know when.
I understand. Well, I'm
But
hoping that the best for you and everything, and without saying what it is. So
yeah,
I understand. Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, look at this.
People do look forward to hearing from you. So yeah, it's good to let people know too, because they'll question it.
Yeah,
Hey,
they'll be like, damn it, he's gone again. Like last week, obviously, Easter.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't, well, yeah, of course. I was supposed to do a show on Easter, and we moved it, and I'm glad we did. It was too wild. It was almost impossible. I don't know if I could have got the like mental capacity to talk UAP after Easter. I'm like, no. So yeah, that worked out good.
Yeah, and you wake up early because it's a holiday and you got to start making food and people are coming over and you're like, oh man.
Yeah.
And you're like burnt out by the time it's dinner.
Yeah, we hosted. So precisely like, what was I thinking?
yeah. I was like, oh, nope, not going to be able to do one.
No.
But one thing, something just came out. Yeah. What was it? Something very recent. They sort of fired that one guy.
Yeah, sort of.
Kind of just moved him.
Yeah.
I've been kind of watching it, but I haven't really read any of the articles.
Are you talking about the sexual allegations and all that fun stuff? Yeah. I guess the guy was kind of a creep and people weren't too fond of him to begin with. So, it was kind of like in due time, this guy was going to show his true colors. And I mean, how do you respect somebody that gives, just, I don't know. I don't want to get into it too far, but it just seems like some people were being favored over the others due to their sex.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
No, it's not.
So
it's never a good thing.
No, it's not. Not a good look, guys or girls.
No. The UFO community should and is a very all-inclusive community. Mm-hmm. At least most of us. There are some people who are annoying, but try to stay away from them.
Yeah. And we were talking about how there's these Twitter wars that go on with people that are, almost just finding something to argue about.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a style of broadcasting per se, or if you're just like kind of a gotcha type person, or, you've got this like anger behind you or whatever it is. Everyone has a style and you will gain the proper audience as per your style. And that's fine. That's completely fine. I don't prefer to argue. I prefer to seek the truth and data and analytics and all of the above. Sure, we'll go down the woo a bit. And, for sure. We have imaginations here, people. We want to, just try to figure things out. So it does get a little bit different. But I mean, I'd rather that than just be completely vanilla and boring. Okay.
Yeah. And, there's with so much that's going on, and I'm actually kind of designing an experiment.
Nice.
That I have no idea if it's really going to work or if it's going to work the way I think it's going to work in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to take about 6 to 9 of these EMF detectors that I found that data log and give the frequency. So they data log the frequencies that it records. And I'm just logging onto my other computer to charge my phone. And
I got it.
I want to use it for a suspected haunting.
Okay.
So if there's this reliably haunted place that everybody says is haunted, I can set this up in there, these 6 to 9 EMF detectors that are data logging.
Nice.
And if there's something that like comes on camera, like you always see like the shadowy shape move through the room or like something move through the room,
Yeah.
If it moves close enough to the EMF detectors and it's generating an EMF field, then they should record it. And I should be able to record it moving from sensor to sensor across the room.
Nice. So almost as if it's a laser in different directions. It's not just one capturing
Right.
one image. You're capturing some movement
Yeah.
and tracking it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, do you have some places like this in your area, or would you have to travel to go? I know you're going to be traveling this year also. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that'll be interesting to bring that with you also.
Yeah, there's a few places out here that look like they might fit the bill for it.
Nice.
And if I can get the experiment done just to do it,
Yeah.
get baseline EMFs and then just have it all out there. If I catch something, great. If I don't, I'm just going to try it again somewhere else.
Right. Exactly. Well, and that's the thing is I feel that things don't show themselves when you're looking for it.
Right.
So it's almost, it's you having to do it multiple times in order to capture what you're trying to capture. And you have a good head on your shoulders. You're going, okay, look, I don't know if this is going to happen, but there's a chance that it might. So why not try? I mean, yeah, that's awesome. Cool. I wish I could go with you. I wish that would be so cool.
Yeah, and like I said, I think I said it on Twitter. Probably said it on Twitter. But all the data that I collect from these investigations, because I'm not a scientist, I don't know what it all means. Like you can tell me frequencies and gigahertz and everything, and I'm like, cool, my phone's 4G. That's about as much as I know. Like I know how XM radio works and I know how the internet works, but if you start throwing hertz and frequencies at me, I'm just like, okay, cool. Yeah. Not my field of study.
Well, and that's okay. I mean, they sell them for a reason, for people to explore, I would suggest bringing a Geiger counter with you also, just in the event that you might capture something along the lines of radioactivity while you're trying to capture these EMF waves and frequencies, because one, you could be in danger. I mean, that's good to know what you're around, having it that. But I mean, it's like kind of like Ghostbusters in a sense, But I mean, it's the real deal stuff. I mean, you could be exposed to something that is dangerous.
Yeah.
So, you need to know, as say an investigator in a sense, what you're, being exposed to. The guys on Skinwalker Ranch, I mean, they have firsthand had injuries due to those things happening. So, I mean, I would be concerned just as a civilian going and, potentially exploring that one day. I mean, that would be pretty interesting. And, I'm sure, a lot of people are curious about it, but I know they no longer allow the public, onto their property, and due to probably that very reason, which is, it's a liability. It's a huge liability. So yeah.
Yeah. Especially with the way the world is today. If they just let anybody on there, and that's the best way to get sued.
Yep. Yeah.
So I went onto your property and I got radiation burns, and somebody else had radiation burns on here. So you knew about it and you still let us on the property. Yeah. It's so easy to make that lawsuit happen.
Right. Well, yeah. And I mean, I was thinking that also in the back of my mind, and people they're seeking, some way of, something. And a billionaire. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. People are desperate, unfortunately. And I mean, I would do the same thing if I were them too.
I mean, if I can only get a tour of the new Tesla plant in Austin and slip on a banana peel or something.
Let's do it together. Just like the guy with Mike Tyson. I'm pretty sure those guys were in on it together. He's like, I'll video you like poke the tiger.
Yeah.
And then we'll get him to, I mean, it's like so textbook.
Yeah,
but no.
Oh, just getting
you're out already.
Yeah, just getting punched in the head by Mike Tyson and being like, dude, let's get him to hit us.
Right.
Like, have you seen that dude punch people before?
Right. Yeah, I used to box at a gym that was owned by Mike Bisbing. He was a
Yeah.
middleweight class champion, and he's the one that lost the eye,
Mhm.
sadly. But total like just awesome dude, and I think I've been in some of his videos when he was like recording as he was boxing. And I'm like, that's Mike Bisbing, and he kind of owns my gym, and I'm in his Instagram video. But yeah, I mean, do you want to do you want to upset that guy? Absolutely not. I,
No.
I I watched a guy walk up to Bisbing as I'm boxing, right? And he's asking him how he can get in with UFC, and I'm going, okay, yeah, this is not what you do when someone's just trying to literally just train or work out.
Yeah.
You just don't do those things. Just like someone sitting on a plane that is like, they're minding their business. They're a patron
Yeah.
just like you are. He's on JetBlue. He's on
Yeah.
JetBlue. It's like, come on, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah. I mean, you should know and have the proper discernment to know, what your place is with, say walking onto Skinwalker Ranch or
Mhm.
trespassing. I mean, these guys are armed. They have firearms, and
Yep.
I wouldn't recommend it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I would
Me
not
neither.
recommend that.
And that's always something that I think of when I watch a lot of like those urban exploring videos, or
Right.
because you have people who are just walking into places, and it's like they 9 times out of 10 don't have, you know, permission from
Right.
whoever owns it.
Right.
And two, in a lot of these areas, there's homeless people living in there. There's
Mm.
like, it's not a place you just want to walk into and be like, I'm going to see if this place is haunted.
Yeah, no. You don't want to run into a hillbilly that doesn't want you trespassing that day.
Yeah. Or some
Or
psycho meth head that,
right, exactly. And kids do silly things like that. I'm sure
mhm,
when you were a kid, you probably went into some back hills and
yeah.
started a bonfire or whatever. I mean, we were kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure they have the signage posted pretty well there. But
Yeah.
yeah, people should be careful, be cautious, look for signs.
Hmm.
Make sure you're on the right property and that you're allowed there before UAP hunting, Bigfoot, Skinwalker, what have
Yeah.
you. Be careful, like, and also be cautious of your surroundings. I mean, have a some sort of something to protect you.
Yeah.
Bear spray, a horn, it's a foghorn, I don't know, just something that can protect you. You don't want to get hurt, so
Yeah.
definitely be
Definitely.
careful. Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's a not far from me, in a couple towns over, there's a abandoned veterans hospital
Oh,
that is like, it's completely abandoned. I don't think anybody's occupied it since like 95 or 97 or something like that.
hmm,
And every time I go by it, I'm like, oh, I want to get in there. Like, I
yeah,
want to look around in there.
yeah.
But then I was driving by, and my father-in-law was with me, and I was like, that would be so cool to go explore in there and see like just what's left and everything else. And he goes, yeah, the house next to it on that property over there. I was like, yeah. He goes, that's the sheriff. And I was
Oh,
like, oh,
yeah,
so don't go at night.
yeah.
Flashlights shining around.
Well, I wonder if you can contact the city though, or if it's an abandoned place, find out who the owner is.
Yeah, I
See
know
if you
the,
can film. It's easy to go to the city and get a permit to film, because
yeah,
I used to do hair and makeup behind the scenes in LA. For photo shoots, short films, commercials, just mostly websites though. But we would go into photo shoots in the city, and you go to the city, you ask for a permit, you say maybe you're filming something for your school, you're filming something for your research,
yeah,
and they'll give you a permit, and you won't get hassled by the police or anything like that. Just do it the right way, and
right.
you'll be okay.
Hmm.
Just watch out for the hillbillies and the
The hill,
skinwalkers.
yeah, the skinwalkers, the crumbling. Who knows what wildlife lives in there because it's shelter. And
Right. Yeah. Mountain lion, bear.
yeah, well, we do have a mountain lion around here somewhere.
Really? Yeah, you
Oh
gotta
yeah,
be
it's been
careful.
seen a few times.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. But
Yeah.
speaking of skinwalkers, so I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Because they show up in these almost shadow being type figures.
Yeah.
And have you seen the video of the woman who had the cat that had passed away? She took a picture, she had some video of it, and then there's the literal shadow of this cat that she owned that had passed away. So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, they're not just showing up in human form, which is, what a skinwalker would be.
Right.
So that is pretty compelling. And yeah, I mean, I've only seen the one account, and then, of course, heard of the show, which it's coming out, I think, is it May 3rd, I believe, May 3rd on a
Yeah.
history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the third season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Likewise. Yeah.
I saw a video today. It was on TikTok, so I don't know how real it was because a lot of the paranormal videos on TikTok are not real.
Yeah.
But it was this like dog. At least the first front half of it was like a black dog,
Mm-hmm.
and the second back half looked like it was a cow or a horse or something.
Weird.
More cow. It was like a big fat animal in the back, and then it was this chunky dog with this big dog head eating grass in a field. And the voiceover was like, "This skinwalker hasn't figured it out yet." Because it's like
He doesn't know what
implying that
he
it
is
doesn't know
yet.
which animal it wants to be.
Nice. He's a hybrid skinwalker.
Yeah. It's a weird dog minotaur thing.
Nice.
But
Yeah, I have to look that up.
I saw that and it kind of reminded me of a theory that I have after watching the alpaca get attacked on season, what was
Mhm.
that, season 1?
Yeah, that was one of their first days too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is like they said that he like had to beat the dog off with like a stick or something like that. He like picked something up and had to hit it for it to stop and run off.
Mhm.
And I was thinking, because I was looking at the wounds on the alpaca, and dogs really don't leave a single slice because they don't have retractable claws. All 4 of those nails are going to go in and pull, and their nails really aren't long enough to go through alpaca fur.
Right.
And just for one of them to leave a slice that's like 17 or 18 inches long,
Yeah.
I was like, that's really weird because I've seen a lot of dog predatory behavior before in wild dogs. And I was like, what if it's just something that looks like a dog but isn't a dog? Like it's like a cloak or like a costume type thing that it's wearing, but that's not what it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the moment to have all of your cameras set up to see if you could catch the shadow, like the hybrid animal that you saw. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, what is it trying to disguise itself as? It's still a mystery. People come across the mutilated cows and
Yeah.
they're have no blood to be shown, and it looks like they've been, some organs have been taken. So wolf isn't going to do that because they would leave those gashes as you described that are
Right.
longer, or a dog can't do that because of the size of their nails. So you go through all of these layers of, okay, figuring out what type of animal this is that did this, or could it simply be a person that's coming out and just taunting, the whole scenario of, oh, there's a TV show and I'm going to go and like, this is going to be my way of being famous by being like the person behind the scenes that does these things.
Yeah.
But you would think that they would have been caught on camera at this point. So that leads me to believe that there's something else going on. I mean, do
Yeah.
you want to lose your life over something such as that? Probably not.
No,
It's not
probably
worth
not.
it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So just, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that could very well be it. That's that. Yeah, I'm just curious as to what they're using now to capture what's
Well,
going on.
so that made me think a lot. So I was thinking about it and I was actually looking up IR scopes for one of my hunting rifles. And I was like, I really want to get an IR scope. And then I started thinking about it, how hard it is to catch the phenomenon with night vision.
Mhm.
Night vision cameras use IR light.
Oh, okay.
There are several animals in the animal kingdom on Earth that can see the IR spectrum. So, can they see the lights coming off of the cameras at night, even though it's IR light, and know to avoid it like they would normal, like a spotlight or a flashlight?
Interesting. I mean, that's something that should be taken into account for sure. I
Because,
mean, they have the sense. I go into my
yeah,
backyard. There's ducks and geese, and there's a little pond in our backyard. And I went out there and fed them today. I'm like, I'm gonna throw some bread out. I've got whatever. I'm gonna share a little bit.
yeah.
But they knew when I was there. They're watching me across this pond.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when I go in the house, then they start to get curious. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I could be that, hey, look, danger. Don't go around, obviously, even though they're feeding me something, but I'm going to come and poke my head around later. So,
yeah,
this is almost something that you need to almost like toy with because of that very reason. If their cognitive, response is that, hey, there's this RF radar, there's signal of some sort
mm-hmm.
that I know is danger, then I'm not going to poke my head around.
Right.
Is there a way to make that camouflage in some way?
Well, the only thing that I can think of that you could use instead of IR is thermal, but thermal doesn't really have the resolution at distance without spending a ton of money for military grade thermal systems.
Okay. So here's the thing then. This is something that's worth putting money forth towards to
Yeah.
research. This is something that's worth investing into to find a connection of some kind. So I
Yeah.
mean, and then you have researchers such as yourself that are going, gosh, I know exactly what I need to test and try,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have the funds to do so.
Right.
I mean, I know you were in the military at one point, but who are the proper people that you need to get in contact with,
Yeah.
that can say, okay, look, we've got some, I don't know. I know Avi Loeb, he's the Harvard professor, and
Yeah.
they're researching Oumuamua. But who would be a person that you could say, hey, look, I think you need to test this out. I can't afford to do this. I know you
Right.
guys have millions and maybe billions of dollars. Like let's try it.
Yeah. Well, I would love if Brandon could set up some thermal imaging, some high resolution thermal imaging cameras in some of the higher areas, and even sort of off the property or as off the property as he can get,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and still legally put them up so that he can monitor the property. And I think you would start to see things, especially with a high res camera, that you didn't realize are going on.
Have you thought about connecting with Travis Taylor by chance? I mean, James Keenan, these guys, they've all been on the ranch. I know Travis is a scientist. So,
Yeah.
they run out of ideas too. They're like, hey, I get stumped also. We all get stumped. But there could be that one idea.
Yeah. Now I need to get a hold of them. I need to
Yeah.
reach out to them, try to get them on the show.
Yeah. Travis, if you're listening, bottled water. Tony's the man.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah, it would like I just see the same things being done over and over again.
Yeah.
And regarding especially in the imaging, and it's always like everything always just happens off camera. And
right.
Even George Knapp brought it up where you could have a camera pointing at another camera, and the one camera, the internals are all ripped out of it, but this camera caught nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like frustrating.
For sure. Well, I mean, what do we need to pull out some Polaroids here? Like just continual Polaroids.
Just Polaroid the whole place 24/7, full-time job.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it does come down to this technology being, fussed with by, the Wi-Fi, the cameras being shut down,
Yeah.
and I've heard this numerous times. I have so many experiencers come forward and they've told me what events they've had when they've tried to do CE5 and things like that, where they're going, yeah, my camera blanked out. And, there's a lot of these accounts. It's a real thing that's happening. So does Canon have some sort of capability of, say, having something that's a little bit more manual again? There are some pictures from way back in the day, like the 50s, that do, I think, possibly look real to me. You can zoom into a picture and find that it's pixelated and, find that it's like just CGI or whatever have you. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's getting down to like the basics of, hey, we're just going to come out here with something very simple, no like deep technology with it, but this is how we're going to capture images of UAP and the phenomenon. Like, are we going to get a skinwalker? Like, that could be it. I mean, what do we do?
And that's kind of why I'm starting to point towards the thermal imaging, a high resolution thermal camera, is because you can hide an IR signature. There's ways to hide from infrared cameras. The military has ways to do it, but you can't really hide a heat signature,
right?
A hot or cold signature. Right. And if you have like a square panel that's the same temperature as ambient temperature, you're still going to see that panel moving around. You're going to be able to see that happening. And your heat from holding it is going to transfer into it, and then it's going to start to heat up and change anyways through thermodynamics. But I think just why not even just try it? Give it a try. That's what I say. Give it a try.
Well, should you have a listener or someone watching today that would be able to donate something to you? Do you have a Patreon? Do you have something that someone can donate to?
Oh, I have the coffee thing.
That would be very cool. Yeah, I mean, hey, you never know. Someone might be willing to front that for you. I mean, if I were able to, I would definitely do it. So
I'm a big fan of thermal image. I mean, I've used them with crew served weapons, and they're just so nice to have.
Yeah,
it's like, yes.
yeah, that's wild how the heat from your hands actually goes into it and changes it up.
Yeah, so I'm actually EPA 608 certified, which is commercial HVAC systems.
Oh, okay.
So I'm certified to work on commercial heating and cooling and refrigeration systems.
Nice.
It's part of my Army stuff that I had to do.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll post it when I find it.
So say if you had that camera, you went to the abandoned vet place and you were filming it next to a wall. Now, if you captured something walking across and say it walked into the wall, I know people have seen these videos, how would it capture that transition from, say, open space into, say, a brick wall where nothing should walk through something like that? But these seem to do that.
Yeah, it's really weird. It would, on a thermal camera, they would have to leave a heat signature behind on the wall that they went through.
Ooh.
There would be like some outline or something.
Yeah, like almost like a layer of, like a remnant of their signature. Oh my gosh, yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it should work.
Yeah.
It makes sense in my mind.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense in my mind too. So I don't know. I mean, it's just a matter of exercising those different ideas and, trying to, see if any of your tests work. That's the whole purpose of it. I mean, that's what we're doing. With what I'm doing, this is something that is real, it could be related. You know, I've had UAP experiencers come forth and say, after this happened, I saw an image of my grandfather who just passed away, and I just witnessed UAP. So that's a definite trend that's happening on my end and what I, do. And I'm not saying that I am an expert. You know, we're not experts. No one's an expert in this field because we don't know exactly what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, any little piece of information might come forward and you go, okay, there's a connection with this. And I know that you have been honing in on that with the paranormal and UAP and electromagnetic fields. And I mean, I'm just so like drawn to figuring these things out because my sister was an experiencer firsthand. And, she's not into this stuff, but she's experienced a couple of things. So it does say something. It does lend something to the fact that, hey, look, this person's not even into this, but they are admitting that something had occurred. She heard my uncle call her name and he had passed away. And this was soon after she had witnessed a UAP. And then my brother-in-law, we're literally hanging out. I think it's Thanksgiving. And they're kind of asking about me and the whole UAP situation and what I do. And, I'm very hesitant to kind of divulge the information because it does sound out there, but we know what we know. So I just I tread lightly when I like start to tell people, and everything goes silent. I tell them what I'm doing. And my brother-in-law goes, I saw one in Iowa on our farmland. And it was green and glowing, almost like the red flashing orb ones that people are describing that almost look like fire in a way.
Yeah.
Translucent, almost green, like your green bottled water. Similar to that is what he described. Zoomed across the dirt road, didn't leave any trail of like dirt, dust, any kick up from the speed. And it just kind of just went off into somewhere. Green.
Wow.
Green, glowing, kind of transparent.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so that's new. That's different. Then he proceeds to tell me that he saw his grandfather soon after that had just passed away on their property.
Wow.
I'm going, all right, this is a connection. And something that kind of rang true in my mind was, the crops that are being, the crop circles and things like that. I'm thinking, are these green ones the ones that might be doing that? I don't know. Deb from Calling All Beings, Deb's Data Dojo, she just mentioned something that the crop circles are something related to them taking energy from the earth. Really? This was just on today with Chris Lato. So tune into that. I found that quite interesting. But I mean, they were on a farm in Iowa and this thing was green and it blasted past. I mean, is this something that has something to do with that? I don't know much about the crop circles. I kind of like click the next page because I'm trying to focus on certain things. But it kind of came up. So with the paranormal, but so many things, guys, so many things.
Yeah. And I'm getting ready to, as I get gear and get set up and try to figure out what it is I'm doing. Yeah. I'm going to be setting up a local page on probably like a 50-mile or 60-mile radius and one of those one of the Facebook community things, and just put it out there looking for paranormal stories or UAP stories. Well, I'll say UFO because nobody around here knows what a UAP is. But just to put the feelers out, because people are probably going to look at it and go, yeah, whatever. But somebody's going to look at it and go, I am tired of whatever this is happening to me. And if they want to know about it and they have access to these people, then they'll contact me so that I can, get more information. I just realized she froze again. That's funny. So she will be back very shortly, but I know she can hear me. So as you can see, scrolling down here is the
Hey.
he's back.
I'm catching up on the iPad.
Okay.
So
More information. I just realized she froze again.
aliens.
That's funny.
Uh,
So she will be back.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on here. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe we're capturing data right now.
We could be. They could be interfering with the signals somehow.
Well,
but it's kind of like
weird.
how we talked about 2 weeks ago. We were talking about the UFOs having to physically manipulate the circuit boards in the nuclear missile silos and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be doing the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. Very well, maybe doing that. It's like it's so abstract to us. It's such an abstract thing because we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And all we can do is do what we're doing. like don't know how else to explain it. It's like but so many different people coming forth with different information, I think it's going to lead to something sooner.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah. We're in the beginning stages, so
And I think one of the good things to understand is we don't know what we don't know about what it is or isn't.
Right.
So when you take that approach and you don't take no, that idea is dumb, and really open your mind to the possibilities of what this could be and, how to approach it.
Right.
Because if you don't know how to approach it, which we really don't, but we know that we should have a Geiger counter on us to detect radiation, because we know that there's these physical side effects that are happening. So we need to be able to protect ourselves and be able to get out of there if something like that happens. So that's one part of it. We know that it does that. Now we need to build upon that and find out more from it.
Yeah, well, I agree. And I think that you understand the safety aspect from it, also coming from your background.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if we decided to dive deeper into this and actually, you are going to go out and do like physical research, you're going to actually go out there and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Or who knows what the potential risks are involved. But yeah, you need to be alarmed and alerted in some form or fashion before going and doing that, because you could potentially get hurt. The badges that radiation techs wear, that's to show what radiation have I been exposed to today.
Yeah.
They wear them for the protection of their life, and you don't want to mess with that. I mean, you do not want to mess with your health if you don't have to. There are risks involved.
Yeah, especially with radiation.
Yeah.
Because it just does nasty things to you.
I know.
And in different ways than different things could. I mean, if I ever went to Skinwalker Ranch, radiation would probably be my number one concern.
Mm-hmm.
And then somewhere along the list would be weird creature just coming out of nowhere, or seeing a light entity, or all the number of things that have happened there.
Yeah.
And being like, ooh, I'd really love to see that.
Right.
Maybe not, though.
Right. But I feel like you would be the right person to do that. And I do too. And I have the same feelings also, where I'm going, oh my gosh, I'm so curious. I want to know and I want to see firsthand, because that's just who you are as a person. And that's definitely how I am. So, but I think you also would be prepared. I think that's what you need to go in with, is like, be prepared for the unknown, because we don't know what we're dealing with. And
right.
I have a bow. I'll bring my bow. Does that penetrate a skinwalker? I don't know.
It's just...
I know you've got other things too. We won't have to mention that, but I've seen you practicing. Yeah.
unloading $100 worth of ammo in 10 seconds.
How come it's so expensive? Why? Why is it so expensive?
So and the video with the AR, I grabbed the wrong magazine.
Uh-oh.
I have target rounds that I use, and they're just like $1 something around, or less than $1 around. And I have more serious rounds that are green tip penetrating rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And every round that I fired in that clip was a green tip. And I was like, oh, and I realized it because I hit one of the metal targets and it went straight through the 1-inch target. And I was like, oh, I just spent so much money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why, there's an indoor outdoor. So, but
yeah.
And I presume that there's nothing behind your target because that could be bad.
Trees and more targets.
That's good.
Yeah, I actually helped set that range up. We
Cool.
set it up really cool. Each set of targets has two. They're about 24-inch thick tree trunks behind them. They're about 24 inches thick. There's two of them, so there's 4 feet of tree trunk deep, and they're 3 feet wider than each target.
Nice
area. So yeah, it's very, very well secured.
Yeah. I'm a fan of, I'm not anti by any means. It's a different challenge to pick up. Some people use it for protection, and I think that that's wonderful. It's like, why wouldn't you want to try and challenge yourself with something new? Or, if where you came from, your background, of course, you're going to know how to utilize a firearm properly. So
I would hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so too. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool. I actually might be going to the range soon to just target practice.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, and I've never shot a bow and arrow outside of, I think, like high school gym class, like once for like 20 minutes. They're like, here's a bow, here's an arrow, shoot that target.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving on to shot put.
Oh, yeah, you need to try it. I have a compound bow, and there's sights on it. And you have like an actual release that you wear on your hand, and it's a release is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's awesome. I mean, some people obviously use them for hunting. I'm clearly not going to do that. I'm not trying to hurt any animals, guys. If you see me with a bow, that's not my intention. But it is actually like it's a different challenge.
Yeah.
And when I shoot bow, I find peace in it in some way. It's just very, you feel like this is what, people were doing to capture food way back when.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. It's just, it's neat. It's more manual to do something like that. You're using your entire body to get your target and challenge yourself in a different way. I recommend it. Definitely try it. Rent one and see how you like it.
I'm definitely going to do that. I saw a video on, I think it was Fail Army.
Okay.
I think it was Fail Army. This dude's got his compound bow and he's got his release and he hooks it and he's pulling to draw back.
Oh,
and I guess he hit the release as he was like midway pulling it back and just socked himself in the face.
Yeah.
I could not stop dying. I was laughing so hard at that.
Whoops. That's like yeah. I mean, you can get injured. I had a huge bruise on my forearm because I didn't have a guard on the first time that I was shooting. Yeah, so the string was whipping my arm. I had a long sleeve shirt on. Next thing you know, there's like an egg like shape under my arm. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have to do something about that because I don't mess around when I do stuff. I mean, I try a new challenge. I'm going full throttle. So yeah, but yeah, wear your guard. Yeah, don't whip yourself in the face. That would not be fun. And yeah, you can actually, it's detrimental to like the string on your bow too, because if you whip it, it sends out all the energy throughout your entire mechanism. And I mean, you have to take your boat to the shop to get restrung. So yeah, it's not cheap either. It costs money, guys. So yeah, don't do that.
When I first got my shotgun and took it out, it was like the first time I had shot a shotgun in probably 2 or 3 years, and I was just so excited. I was like, yeah, I got a Mossberg 500. I'm gonna go shoot my Mossberg. And I had a bunch of 3-inch Magnum buckshot loads and a bunch of 2.5-inch Magnum loads, and I fired 3 boxes of each, and I was just sitting there doing one, then the other, then one, then the other, and just shot all these shotgun shells. And I wake up the next morning and my whole shoulder is black.
Yeah.
Just because I shot somewhere around 150 or 175.
That's a lot.
12 gauge rounds.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah. So my whole shoulder is like purple and just nasty. And I'm just like, oh, why does my shoulder hurt? My wife goes, because you shot your damn gun all day, dumbass. And I was like, oh, yeah. That makes sense.
That was fun.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Wow. Yeah. That's a lot of energy, though. And tapping on your shoulder. Yeah.
It definitely is.
Well, I can tell you right now, if either one of us were in that position, we would be armed.
Yes.
We would be armed. Yeah, I mean, and you don't want to hurt an animal. That's the thing. At the end of the day, you don't want to hurt an animal, but you need to protect yourself from the elements. You don't know what's out there. I mean, you could be attacked by a mountain lion, and if there's a way for you to scare the animal off first, then that would be the way to do it. Yeah, you do. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you can't walk around in a bubble until that's like invented.
So, and generally, like if it's a mountain lion, you've got a little bit of time, as long as you're not in an area where like your back's to a tree. If your back's to a tree and it's up in the tree, it's coming down on you.
Right.
If you're like in an open area, it has to run at you. They typically don't hunt like that, but if they have cubs nearby or something, a mama mountain lion will come at you, but she'll announce herself. They do that weird mountain lion scream thing, and they bat their paws and make themselves look bigger and kind of hop and do a bunch of weird stuff. So in that situation, you just slowly back away. Make yourself look as big as possible and just slowly back away. Never turn your back on a predatory animal.
Yeah. Good information, guys. Good
information.
Never
turn your back on a predatory animal.
Yeah. At one point, my mom, she was on my grandma's property, and this is the property that we had seen the UFO. So we were out against a riverbed, and it was very dark, but a dog had come after my mom, and she was solo. Yeah. But she did the whole, I'm going to make myself bigger. It was beelining right for her. And she did the whole, make myself bigger. Dog turned around, whimpered away. I mean, it really does work.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, if we can help somebody from this conversation, that is a way to scare an animal off. But a predatory animal like a mountain lion, that's different. You need to be very methodical about your approach and how you decide to slowly maneuver yourself away. So nature is no joke.
Nope. Which is why I always say that if you find yourself in grizzly bear country, don't be alone. And if it charges after you, you're kind of screwed. So they did a study, and they found that the best way to protect yourself from a grizzly bear charging at you is with a 10 millimeter handgun and bear spray.
Okay.
Because a 10 mil probably won't kill it, but the bear spray plus the noise and the impact of the rounds is going to make it just go away. It's going to stop.
Yeah. We do not want to hurt animals.
Hi, Kashi.
Hi, Kashi. What's up, girl? She's going to be at the UFO Disclosure Symposium. I know. I heard from someone. I heard, an alien girl will be there. Alien Girl 111.
And Lynn Wallington.
Nice. So yeah, and I know you guys are going to go on the VIP tour from what I've heard. So there's going to be there's going to be a tour at Blind Frog Ranch, which is really cool. So I guess that's like one of the added perks from buying a VIP. But other than that, I mean we're here for information and viewing the flare footage, and it's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be awesome hanging out with everybody and seeing all the familiar faces.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a great exchange of information. You know, Avi Loeb will be there, Jim Segala, Chris Leto, you know, and everybody brings something different to the table. And like James Keenan, he is an investigator, researcher, author, and I'm sure some of you have read his books. And yeah, I mean, it's just like a really, really kind of cool lineup that they've got together. I'm how did they do this? This is going to be cool. So I'm excited. Yeah. So
definitely.
Kind of see you there. Judy?
I really want to go, and my wife said the other day, she's like, well, if you really want to go, and I was like, well, I kind of already said I won't, but she's like, just think about it. So now I'm putting are you going to my sister's graduation, or are you going to the UFO conference in Utah?
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, which one will be held against me longer?
Your listeners or the graduation, the entire family? I think you need to go to the graduation.
Yeah.
There will be another one. And, you know, just get the online. There's online viewing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you can just get that and then, you know, tune in. It'll be all weekend long. So I think it'll be worth it. You know, you could live stream.
Yeah. And I'm real excited about these videos that are going to be showcased.
I know.
I'm like, what? New
I know information. Videos? I know something you don't know.
Oh, I know you do. Like I really want to see those. That's going to be so cool. And see, like if I didn't have to be somewhere else, I would definitely be there, and I would do the VIP ticket so that I can go see these people and be like, hey, I'm that annoying guy that always tweets on you on Twitter with the weird name.
Not one bit. I think people kind of like it sometimes too.
And they would just go, you don't look like Mick West. Kidding, Mick. Mick knows I love him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course it'd be cool for you to be there and do the whole VIP and have the front row seating and all of that fun stuff. But you know, online it's going to be just the same. So don't feel like FOMO if you can't make it. Just you know, try to get online. It's Memorial Weekend also, so it's kind of like it'd be kind of cool to have that just going on your television and you know making food with your family,
grilling and
that would be cool. You can always refer to it later. I mean, it's going to be released to the public then and there afterwards. So the media will be there. The debrief will be there. Micah Hanks from the debrief is there. I've heard other people. I can't say the names but there's potential for some big names. Sorry, guys. But I mean, I think that whoever is already on the lineup is already enough for me to say, okay, I think that I trust all of these sources, and you know, I just
Well, I have an idea on somebody who could show up.
Oh yeah.
Given their.
I have to hold my poker face. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
All right.
Really?
Given their location in proximity to Vernal, Utah, and the fact that this person I don't think has met Avi Loeb yet, and if he has, he only met him for a short period of time at a previous conference.
Oh, I think I know who you're trying. Brandon?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I'm not too sure.
He is a busy guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he'll get on the helicopter and cruise over. Who knows? I don't know about that.
But he did just buy that property in Hawaii.
I heard. Yeah.
Like
that's close to the
1,400
telescope.
acres.
The telescope.
Yeah.
I think it's on Maui though.
Is it on that island?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But on Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That'll be nice.
yeah.
I've been there a couple of times.
I would just hang out there all the time. I'd be like, all right, I'm retired.
No, you wouldn't.
No,
No,
I
you
wouldn't.
wouldn't. No, you would be doing this.
Yes.
You would be doing this.
I'd be like, hey guys, it's bottled water live from Hawaii. I just got done fishing for the last 9 hours.
Nice. Kayaked out, spearfished. And
I don't kayak in the ocean.
Yeah, it can be dangerous.
No, I've seen what's in the ocean. I don't kayak in the ocean.
Okay. Roger that.
I've been out there.
Yeah. Those eels and sharks.
Yeah, big sharks. Seen big sharks. Caught big sharks.
Ah. I've seen a thresher shark before for the first time. Oh, and I lived on the water for a little while in California.
Yeah.
And those guys, they will not mess around. They have the long tails and they whip their prey. Yeah. And that's how they actually get them, which I found, fascinating. So
yeah, their tail's like, isn't it like 2/3 of the length of their body or something like that?
Yeah, it's something like that. But it was incredible to see in person. So, and flying fish, actually, on the way to Catalina, I have seen flying fish on the boat to Catalina. They're real.
That's what happened. The Catalina thing, the earthquake, the non-earthquake that did not happen.
When? It
was Easter weekend, wasn't it?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I did not hear about that. I follow USGS too, and you know what? I don't have them on this email that I have now, so I'm not checking that email. But tell me about that. So how big was it? Do you remember?
4.0.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty good. Underwater in Catalina.
Yeah, they called it a non-geological seismic event or something like that.
Nice. Wow. Non-geological seismic event. 5 times fast, guys.
Yeah, say it.
No tsunami warnings or anything like that.
Nope.
Because we had them on the water. I lived on the bay side, so my backyard was like literally sand and like seals and moats.
Yeah.
So, but what would happen, and while you're looking this up, this is really interesting because when there was a high tide and a combination of high tide and there's the moon, but also a storm at the same time. There was a point where the water came up so high that it came out of our actual, drainage. And I'm thinking, is my place going to flood here? And that peninsula is actually man-made from, I don't know how many years ago, but they build up berms. So when the south swell comes in and those waves come in, they have gone over into the streets, into people's homes. Ooh. But when we had a full moon and a storm at the same time, you're literally, you have that potential of living like in a flooded like living room. Like I got out of there.
Yeah.
It was wild. I came home one day and there was seaweed on the sidewalk where you would normally drive like far from the water. So no, thank you. Like I'm good.
So this is it.
Nice.
Shaking detected near Catalina was not actually an earthquake, the USGS says.
Oh, gosh.
Initially reported to be a 4.0 earthquake Friday morning. This is Friday before, Easter. 16 miles from the city of Avalon on Catalina Island. Was not an earthquake. They said it was like something like man-made or something else caused it.
Wow. Really? And do you think it's something from Santa Catalina or San Clemente Island? I apologize. Where they have all the military.
Well, they detected the epicenter to be like I think it was just a couple miles off of Catalina, or no, it was actually on Catalina.
Okay.
But it detected a non-earthquake event, which triggered their system. No public alerts were sent out. So I looked up like what they consider a non-earthquake event. And it's like mining or blasting, stuff like that you see in quarries or fracking can cause earthquakes. But a 4.0 earthquake is 2,000 pounds of or the equivalent of, is it 1,000 or 2,000 pounds of TNT being detonated?
Oh.
Which is the same as a nuclear bomb, like the one we dropped on Hiroshima.
Yeah. So, and having it be man-made, you wonder, okay, it clearly either had to be on Catalina or San Clemente. And people that aren't, familiar, there's a Navy and Army, all of the above, like right next to Catalina. So my mind would go to them immediately, or maybe they had a submarine. Like what are they testing under the water? Where you found that Google map where it's all erased on Google Maps, which is super questionable, and you want to know what the heck it was they were trying to hide. Well, what were they testing? Because on Catalina, I mean, unless they're building a hotel and they need to blow up the ground with some TNT, what would be that purpose?
Yeah, they're not really detonating stuff in Catalina Island.
Right.
But one of the things that I learned a while back was that mining companies will actually time their detonations so that they don't all go off on the same time or at the same time. And the specific reason for that is so that the USGS and the group that monitors nuclear blasts don't think that somebody detonated a nuclear weapon, because they're detonating thousands of pounds of TNT, but they're doing it in steps, so it's not one big explosion, it's multiple explosions. And then the USGS knows, oh, that's this mining operation that's over here.
Interesting. I mean,
mid-sentence. 4.0 isn't much for California. No, it's not. But it is a lot of energy. As I think every number on the Richter scale goes up by a factor of 10. Thanks, Chris. I want to say that's what it is. Each one goes up by a factor of 10 from the previous. Yes. Damn aliens. Froze Steph again. Let's see. Oh no, it's just me. She'll be back. One of the things that can happen when you do a live show, there will be glitches. And she's back.
I'm back. Hey.
You're back. So yeah, I thought that whole story was weird because it was like updating like every couple of hours, and they went, oh, it was an earthquake. It wasn't an earthquake. It was a non-geologic event. And then they're like, no, it was nothing.
Yeah.
I think at one point they said it was a glitch in their system that falsely recorded it. But an article said that people felt shaking on the coast. And I was like, it sounds like they're full of shit. Something happened.
Right. Well, and that's what they do too, because they can't alarm the public and be the alarmists of we're testing out some nukes, everything's fine. Yeah, no. I guess that's what you have to do when you're dealing with the masses. And it's the coast. They have to protect the coast. I mean, should something bad occur, I know that a lot of like the port right there, we have all the ships that were sitting out there like a graveyard, and they still are. But that could be a potential threat also. A ship comes over and decides to attack the coast.
Yeah. I
mean, those guys need to be checked out too. Like what's coming over. And I mean, we have to protect the coast. So, but they're definitely up to something.
Yeah. And That always just seems like the perfect place where you can test something and people really aren't paying attention to the sky or what's underwater as much as they're just being, I don't know, Insta famous or TikTok famous and shooting their videos.
Well, and they're not thinking about Pendleton and Coronado and San Clemente Island. There's a lot of wild stuff going on, folks. Like have fun on TikTok and Instagram and all of that fun stuff. But there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. And, you should have some level of concern in the back of your mind, live your life and obviously like enjoy your life and don't live in fear. Yeah. But they're doing these for some sort of reason, and I don't want to go into it too far, but what's going on in Russia and all of that. I mean, is that in preparation for, something similar to that happening to us? And I mean, it's all probable. You can, anything can happen. Yeah. So we have to be prepared. So.
Absolutely right. And part of that is trying to figure out what the hell these things are.
Yeah. Like, we need to know how to address them. I think that's the main thing is civilians being approached by them. How do they respond to what authority do they call? And, I did recall the person who created an app. His name is Christian Thompson with a K. Christian Thompson created an app to basically report a UAP. So it's very similar to, say, reporting something to the authorities on a non-actual 911 site. And it will pop up. And if other people report it, then you'll see a little, ping in that area. Yeah. So that would be a good start because we can't inundate, every March Air Force Base or every Air Force Base and police with, hey, I saw UAP. What is the actual number that people are going to refer to in an event of an emergency? I would say that's an emergency.
It's kind of like how the Waze app has this is where, why is this focusing on
I don't know. I see. That's weird. Yeah, you're all blurry.
I am. My stupid camera decided to focus on my microphone and not me. Maybe there
you are.
just out of view.
Weird. But Waze,
yeah, it's how you can report there's a cop at this junction or there's a cop under this overpass. Hey, there was a UFO on, out in the middle of this field on, Avenue K and Highway 2, whatever.
Exactly.
And then other people might go, yeah, I saw that.
Right. Yeah, and they might have had a different vantage point where they captured something different because people view them in their own perception and how they see it. Now, I don't know if you listened to my account with my sister and my mom, but my mom and I both described a black triangle craft, and the bottom of it looked like a ship. My sister recalls it as being round. And that's the perfect example to say, hey, look, five people saw it, but 3 people saw it as triangle, 2 people saw it as tic-tac, whatever. But are they changing shapes or is this something that is completely in our minds that we think we're seeing? I don't know. But I mean, you need to collect the data. And that's exactly what would need to be done in this event when this is really drawn out for the public on a government site, because it needs to go on a USGS site, something similar to that, to say, this is the protocol, these are the shapes. And I know you said in the one of those pages that had been put out, the shapes had been blacked out, which is completely ridiculous. But I mean, there's going to be different shapes. So maybe there's a total checklist, when you go to the doctor, was it this color? Did you hear light? Was there a frosted lights? Whatever. You need to go down this checklist and say exactly what you saw. So you're not just a frantic person calling, going, oh my gosh, I just saw something. I don't know what it was. Was it a satellite? Was it a weather balloon? Was it a cloud? Were you are you taking any substances that might alter your thinking?
Yeah.
There needs to be that level of seriousness to it, where there is a checklist where, the call centers aren't inundated, but they can, identify what they're dealing with. And if they do need to send out somebody in the air to address the situation, because that's an emergency.
Yeah.
It's an emergency. So,
and I also think, I also think we got to look at the historical aspect of it. There's, there's a lot of stories from a long time ago, and not to be all ancient alien-y.
No, it's okay.
But if you look at some of the stories in the Bible, and like the fiery chariot coming down and the spinning wheel with eyes, and the depictions of angels and what they're depicted as is incredibly terrifying. And the way, I think it's the Hindu scripture where there was the war for the city by the two gods, and their crafts are shooting beams at each other, and the sky is blowing up for like days. And you're like, God, that sounds a lot like UFOs shooting lasers at each other.
Sounds terrifying. Yeah. And that's kind of what it does sound like. So are those what they were trying to depict in their, petroglyphs?
Right.
Possibly.
It also makes me think that maybe being alive like 4,000 or 5,000 years ago when this happened could have been pretty lit. Like you probably could have seen some weird shit all the time.
Yeah, and they were probably, taking some natural stuff too,
Oh yeah, everybody was on ayahuasca.
Yeah, ayahuasca, definitely like herb. Like I don't do anything, by the way, to like alter anything. I do like a glass of vino from time to time, but yeah, I mean, opioids and things like that they were probably ingesting when these things were happening. I can only imagine the level of, how their brains were like melting as we talk about these things, like sober,
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, who knows what they endured? How do you explain all of the petroglyphs that were drawn and the things that depict, a spacecraft and people with like the enlarged heads and the big eyes and certain shapes that they focused on? And, yeah, I mean, we didn't get to see all that stuff, or maybe we haven't been able to, collect the data enough yet, we're definitely being visited. There's no doubt about that.
Well, also, like, imagine if you took a Apache attack helicopter, threw it 400 years into the past. How would somebody who has no idea of what a helicopter is or the combustion engine, and then say, explain what you just saw? The whirling, the engines making all that noise, it flying through the air. It's like a weird angry dragon or something. Like, that's how I think a lot of these myths came about, was because people are trying to describe something they have no basis in their reality for.
Right.
I mean, the most technological thing was a carriage. And some places had running water 500 years ago and 600 years ago. And then we're like, oh, well, they couldn't have possibly seen a UFO. Like, yeah, we can't explain UFOs. And we've landed on the moon. So,
yeah.
Are we any better off?
Right. No, I mean, and this is a perfect example too. I mean, I was just in Fullerton, California with my mom, and she was going, there were horse and carriages just going down the street just over about a century ago. And wrap your mind around that. That was our transportation. And like, we're trying to figure out what a UFO is. And we have Teslas now. We have, rockets and, like you said, land on the moon and all of that. Like, imagine what's going through that person's mind that hasn't seen a camera or computer any electronic in their life, and you have this spacecraft visiting you, you are going to build certain buildings to either draw them near you or further away. They may looked at them as gods, or it could have been something like, hey, this is danger. I'm going to create this whole entire building to detour you from our land.
Yeah.
So we don't know really what was going on in their minds, but it's such like an interesting thing to even like chew on in your mind to think about. Like, what would you think? Like, what would you think if you're hanging out there, you're like chiseling something away, you're making a knife, and something decides to like beam down? Like, what would you do? You had your family.
Know what to
do. Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, right now, there's a group of people in a room who work for NASA that are remotely controlling a basically car, because it's as big as an SUV, on Mars while looking through the cameras and doing experiments with it. And 100 years ago, we didn't have cell phones.
Well, and can't they
50
see?
Years ago, we didn't have cell phones.
That's like mind-blowing. Can't they see from and hear a conversation from their, how come I can't? Right.
Yeah.
So like, what the heck? Like,
I mean, it's kind of like me and Brad were talking about. I was talking about how crazy it is that me and him are having a conversation, and he's in the UK and I'm in Kansas, and we're having this clear back and forth conversation. And one of the things that has kind of like always racked my mind about this, especially with live streaming, is when you watch the news and they have somebody who's in a different location, and it's like CNN or Fox News. It's like a multi-billion-dollar corporation. There's like a 10 or 15 second delay always with the person who's in another studio. And I'm like, I have a program that I pay like $10 a month to have clear conversations with people. And you're a giant news corporation.
I mean,
and you can't do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is that for the reason of, say, kind of editing and things like that? If it were live and, the F-bomb were laid out?
Well, all live broadcasts have like a 5 to 10 second delay.
Okay.
Just for that reason.
So, I mean, this is the way, guys. This is your news. This is your nightly news with bottled water and UAP Experiencers. Welcome.
Welcome. Well,
welcome to the rabbit hole.
We'll definitely last longer than CNN Plus.
I mean, they can't stop. They really cannot turn your show off, technically.
Not really.
As long as you're not doing something that's like, say, illegal.
Right.
I mean, what you're doing is research and journalism.
Mm-hmm.
That's not illegal. It's totally okay to do. Yeah. What we're doing is fine.
I forgot who I was talking to, but I was talking about censorship in the media and what stories they choose to play and don't choose to play or tell. And I think it was the Washington Post who was going after the bearded butchers for being on Tucker Carlson talking about cattle mutilations in UFOs.
Oh, really?
They wrote a whole article about it. And I look at I was looking at the responses, the comments, and it was like, those comments were like it was a bunch of people just trashing the whole UFO subject. And I was like, this one article by the Washington Post, because they hate Tucker Carlson, is going to set us back and put that stigma right back on it.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, yes, Fox News is probably the loudest voice that is, Lou Elizondo's on there, Jeremy Corbell's on there. All these people go on there and they talk to Tucker. Yeah. And I really don't care about all that other stuff, the fact that they're out there and talking and people are seeing it,
Mhm.
wonderful. But when other journalists start to attack that,
Yeah.
there's people who will immediately leech onto that and just go, yeah, all those UFO people are a bunch of MAGA crazies.
Yeah, where's
And
my
then
foil hat?
Yeah.
Clearly, that's not the case, guys. That's just ignorance, to be honest. It's ignorance. It's slowing the momentum. Sorry that this is probably going to take over whatever your story is,
Yeah.
but this is real news. So sorry, guys. We're here.
Yeah. We're not
Yeah.
going anywhere.
We
here.
are not going anywhere. And it is cool that, he's opening up the platform to, Jeremy and George and Lou. And they've been on the news more often as of late that I can recall, which it says that something is about to happen. I think that there's going to be just more coming out, especially the 1,500 page documents from the Pentagon. This is leading to something.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely leading to something. You should tune into Kennedy too. She's another one that's similar to Tucker. I mean, she's pretty out there and awesome and covers the bases and she's very open. So, I mean, those are the kind of broadcasters that we need to have also as, someone that's going to cover this event. Because I mean, this is going to be the biggest piece of news history that anyone will ever receive in their lifetime.
Yeah, I agree. I gotta go take a picture for my wife real quick, so everybody can look at Steph for a
All right. Hi guys. Who's on the chat? Let's see who's on the chat. Oh gosh. Pinzer, what's up? Don't worry. I'll mod myself here. That's cool. What's up, Mike? How are you? Thanks for tuning in. This is awesome. Glad that you're here moderating, making sure that there's no trolls. I secretly want to catch a troll so that I can like answer them back. I'll be like, oh yeah, I saw that. Honestly, but no room for bullying, no room for trolls, none of that stuff. Not welcome here. If you are a troll, show yourself and you're gonna get booted. We don't accept that because we're all trying to do the same thing here. We're all here for the same reason. So yeah. What's up,
everyone?
all is good in the family forefront.
Yes.
Right on.
My wife was like, "Can you send me a picture of the calendar?" I was like, yeah. Hold on.
Husband duties, I get it.
Yep.
My other half came home right at 7 when we were starting, and I'm like, oh gosh, I just made him some pasta. Like the dog's gonna bark as soon as he gets in. I'm like, okay, you were having some like difficulties with the Wi-Fi. I'm like, perfect. Let me just wrap this up really quick. I'm like, I have to log on and do my UFO talk.
Yeah, the internet was killing me.
So
when you do when I do this podcast, throughout the week leading up to the podcast, I'm always like, all right, I gotta have this done. I gotta have that done. I got all these things. I think she froze again. Yes. Okay. Oh, that's okay. She'll be back. Oh, crack the back. Can we see if we can get it to not focus on? That's weird. So who's still here? Penzer's here. Hi.
There you are.
There we are.
Cool. Sorry, aliens are back.
They're back. They're messing with the broadcast. So,
do you want to log on to Twitter Live really quick?
Yeah, I don't know if my phone's gonna cause a thing. What's it called? A reverb. It shouldn't, should it?
I don't know. I think we should test it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because your audio is coming through my ears, so
you're frozen. Darn it.
I am? You are.
There, now you're not.
We're back.
Is Twitter the naughty word?
Twitter's the naughty word. Maybe they all hate Elon Musk.
Yeah,
What it
maybe.
is. See, I said Elon Musk and she froze.
All right.
No, but if
Now
you
I
want,
know.
I mean, yeah, we could definitely. We'd probably have to end the broadcast and then go into do a live space. And if anybody wants to join in, we'll be live, and literally said Twitter live space and she froze.
So
All
okay.
right.
I see you.
Okay. So I think we should do that. We should.
Okay.
We'll end the broadcast, and so I'll close this out, and then we'll start the live space.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Great to see you.
Thanks for coming back on, Steph.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'll see you on Twitter.
All right.
Bye, guys.
And that is the end of. This is the 13th episode. I incorrectly said it last time that the 12th was the 13th. Is that through your Twitter, Tony? Yeah, one of ours. We'll post a linky thing to it, whatever they do. But thanks for joining. I'm going to let you guys know later on in the week whether or not I'm having a show this weekend or next weekend. I don't know which weekend I'm going to be gone yet. So when I know that information, I will let everybody know. Once again, thank you for listening. If you're on Spotify, thank you for the two of you that are listening on Spotify. If you're on Rumble, hit the little Rumble thing. I don't know, give me a Rumble, I think it's called. Like, share, subscribe on the YouTubes, and I will see everybody very shortly-ish, maybe, possibly. I don't know. Soon.